Yo, what is going on? Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere, welcome to the one and only Pig Trail Network live show. I know it has been a little while. Cody Sutterfield, hi Ty, what's up Cody? Greg, how you doing? John, yo, I made it, he says. Azazian, long time no see, wayfaring stranger. What is this, Game of Thrones? Who says wayfaring? Who says that? Azazian, no, I like it. Afternoon, Mr. Hudson, you sexy bitch. Thank you. Stop it. You're going to make me blush. I've got my wife a little while back got me the LED ring. I don't know if you can see it in my glasses. You see it? And I don't have anywhere to mount it properly on my screen, so I've just got it nailed to the wall. Winning! That's all I'll say. So it's nailed to the wall, and you can see where it's cut off. That's because it's kind of behind my screen. But I need some more light on all this sexiness. Oh, please, God, no. Oh, my God, football will be played. There is a God. I know. I concur. This message, James. Hey, Ty, what it do? It's T-Y, not T-Y-E. T-Y-E would be Ty Richardson from The Morning Rush. But what's up, Omaha? Hope all's well. Hope you guys are doing well. We've got a lot to get caught up on. I'm trying to get all this. I mean, there's dust on some of the stuff. Other than my podcast microphone, it's fine because we have been recording podcasts, but I haven't obviously been doing the live streams. I use a different mic for that. So we're gonna wait just a second, get a few more people in here. If you guys would like, comment. I mean, you're obviously commenting, but share the content if you could. That means that strange looking arrow somewhere. I think it's down below the screen here. You just click that, copy, and then paste that bad boy across social media. Please be sure and tag me. I'd appreciate it. If you guys would also check out all the links down below in the description box to all my Patreon supporters. Listen, not a single one of you have stopped being a part of the Patreon. I think I've had 15 Patreon subscribers. I want to say for like 5 months, maybe 6 months. That's incredible, and no one's left. You guys are sticking through it, and I really do appreciate that, especially considering these live streams. I just do them when there's something worth talking about, in regards to Arkansas Razorback athletics. Hang on, let me get a sip. What's up, Ty? What's going on, TTV? Your boy Judd, one of our moderators from Discord. Street tacos and hog news. Only thing that sucks, I'm having to go to work. Oh, I'm sorry, John. That sucks. That does suck. How's it going, Fishman? Hope all's well. I'm doing well. You could probably hear my kids screaming in the backyard. They're in the backyard swimming while my wife is preparing some BLTs in the kitchen. So I'm excited about that. So, okay. Yeah, check out all the links. That was the point that I was making about the Patreon subscribers. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you. For those of you who just drop by and comment and be a part of everything, I appreciate you guys as well. You're the regs, the regulators. Regulators! That's a different. Mount up. Ooh. Where are my 80s and 90s kids at? So, check out all those links provided for you down below in the description box. And, of course, if you haven't already, feel free to tap the subscribe button. Okay. We had a lot happen today. Well, in the last, since the last Hog Talk podcast. I mean, there's a lot that has happened. Hunter Yurachek today. That's where we're going to start. You like that? That's where we're going to start. Hunter Yurachek. So he didn't actually tweet this. This was Susan L. Quarry. And she tweeted this bad boy right here. You can see it right here. Here it is. She said that, and you could read, obviously, for yourselves. University of Arkansas is planning on starting Razorback football September 5th with practice starting mid-July. Whose birthday is mid-July? I'm July 15th. That's my birthday. What a gift. Hopefully they have open practices, and for my birthday, I can go watch them practice. That'd be great. Or get kicked out of get kicked out of the indoor facility. But so this was per Hunter Yurachek on the Board of Trustees virtual meeting today. So this wasn't a tweet by Hunter Yurachek. This was him talking to the Board of Trustees. Got to keep these guys happy. You know, universities across the country losing so much money. You already lost March Madness. Oh, my God. The money lost during all that. Holy crap. Trying to tone down the language. Just trying to keep it somewhat kid-friendly. So then Hunter Yurachek later took to Twitter and wanted to come out and clear the air here. And this is what he had to say. I hope that pulls up right for you guys. Earlier today, now this is what he said on Twitter. He posted this. I don't know if this was just like something he emailed out to everybody and then also posted on Twitter. I don't know. Maybe he sent these out to season ticket holders and also posted on social media. Earlier today, I answered a question during our Board of Trustees meeting related to my thoughts on the start of the 2020 football season. To clarify my comments, there is one plan that would have our student athletes return to campus for official team activities around July 15th. To hit the target of an on-time September 5th start to the football season. As I outlined in my original comments, this is just a plan, not an official decision. Decisions will be made based on continued health and safety of our student athletes. That's what he had to say. Let me click that off there. We don't need to see that tweet any longer. Want to know what you guys think about all that. I think it's pretty interesting that he would come out and say anything, or rather, I'm surprised that this, first off, was so, I didn't realize that this thing would be public with Zoom meetings and all this stuff being closed down. I didn't realize that all this information would be, like, public. I didn't know that. I kind of thought when he met with the Board of Trustees, that was all like private, and then would later, on a later date, release that information that was said. I didn't realize that the media could listen in. Apparently they can. Big deal. That's a real big deal. And so someone had asked, I think it was John who asked in our Discord. Let me pull that up. How did you? Oh, and of course I have Discord closed out on my computer. Of course, never fails. Ty, what are you doing? Let me pull up what John asked. John asked a really good question. So due to the lack of spring, are they extending summer camp due to? So here's what I think they're going to do. Of course, Greg Sankey still has to sign off on this for the conferences, right? And I'm going to get to what Greg Sankey said to some local radio stations. Well, I say local, not here, down in his part of the world, further southeast of here. Isn't that weird? How far we are from everything down in Atlanta and the SEC. It just feels weird sometimes when you talk about the rest of the conference. I think first off, you didn't have spring camp, right? I mean, duh. So you have to make up for that somehow. You think about all the disadvantages you already have, as Missouri, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Arkansas all have this year, which is new coaches, new systems, new OCs, new DCs, new staff members, strength and conditioning up and down the route. Like, you're brand new. And you didn't have a spring camp? That is huge. Now, I know they did these virtual, meetings, and I think Coach Stepp is probably, like, all the position groups are doing these Zoom meetings with each other and going over plays, route formations, technique, all that stuff. But you can't go over this stuff. It's one thing to go over it through a webcam, and actually practice it on the field. Now, I know some of you probably played high school sports. I did. I'll tell you right now, I didn't learn, pardon the language, kiddos, I didn't learn jack shit in the film room. I didn't learn jack shit in sitting down talking to a head coach or my position coach. I learned it being out on the field and actually going through the motion of things, going through your everyday routine. It's kind of like, it's not, but it is kind of like what they do in the Army and the Marines. It's all about a daily routine, and it's all about also installing and implementing what you want to have happen live on field. And that's why you have, you start off in, maybe just helmets and shorts. Then you go to helmets, shoulder pads, shorts. Then you go to full pads, and you implement. It's a system, column by column. That's all gone. You didn't have any of that this spring. So you did these virtual meetings, and you hear Sam Pittman talk about it. I think Odom has been a little bit more honest in his interviews. Now, I haven't listened to all of them. Briles has more or less stated they're going to have the entire offense installed. Now, excuse me if I'm a little skeptical because of the last two coaching staffs. I realize this is a new staff, and everyone's like, oh, no, but it's going to be fine. I think we did that last time. I think we did that with Chad Morris. Oh, no, they're going to be great. Let's put on the serious hat here. And I'm naturally a skeptic. I don't know how much of the offense you can actually install without being on the field, scrimmaging, practicing, implementing, installing on the field. You might have it up here, but do you have it up there when it matters, when you're on the field going full pads? So you start this mid-July camp. Okay, now we're getting to the center of it all. I mean, that gives you the time. Maybe half the time if you go from July 15th. How long is spring camp, by the way? What is it like? Is it 5 weeks? It seems like it's longer than that. I don't know. But you've got a very short amount of time to acclimate everything because then you have the campus opening up. There's gonna have to be a break in between there between your whatever you want to call it, your makeshift summer camp and then your fall camp. How much? To me, this just spells trouble. Now, it's good because we get football back. I agree with everyone. One way or another, we get football back. I was kind of hoping for an earlier date. I was kind of hoping, okay, I tell you what, it's May. If things continue this way, we're gonna supplement the lack of spring and install everything that you would do during spring during maybe the month of June or maybe really early July. So that would give you 2 weeks advantage compared to where they're talking about now, July 15th, mid-July. I get beggars can't be choosers. I'm happy that there's even talk of football. Now, keep in mind, too, like he said in that quote, or his media release, this is all depending on, too, if things continue to, as long as COVID doesn't come back, right? Like all of a sudden cases start to spike again. The CDC had said, now this number is everywhere. The World Health Organization, the WHO, who I trust is about as far as I can throw them, China's a bunch of communists. It's amazing to me how the World Health Organization and China are like hand in hand, and we're believing what these anyways, it's amazing how all these numbers from different places are. It seems like when you boil it down, and I said this in the Hog Talk podcast. Kyle and I both agreed to this on the last Friday show. We're not doctors. We don't have PhDs. I'm not a scientist, but didn't study microbiology, right? But we're hearing that the death rate is really low. Now, I'm just telling you this as, let's say you're a CEO of a company or you're the commissioner of the SEC, you're looking at, okay, is it really like sub 0.5? Like that's your chance of actually dying from this thing it's under 1%. The deaths were cut in half from 65? Down to 35,000 expected total death rate or something. Again, do your own research, please. Don't take what I'm saying. Take what I'm saying with like a grain of salt. But the numbers have shown that the deaths are dropping. Things are actually heading in a better direction. The economy is starting to open up a little bit. You're hearing about these phases. You're hearing about like certain areas opening up. And I think that's the right way to go about it. I think certain areas that were way like not affected by this thing very much. Northwest Arkansas is a good example of that. Those areas are opening up. If this continues, if that's the trend throughout the Southeast, you can bet your ass Greg Sankey's going to have, there's going to be a season. I said this on the Hog Talk weeks ago. They already missed out on March Madness. I mean, millions of dollars there, and that's not just the SEC. That's all of everyone who participated in any, obviously the networks and the NCAA. They've already lost too much money. They have to recoup that money. There's no way. If there's a sign of light at the end of the tunnel and that light is getting I know that's a scary thing to say because I said that so often when Chad Morris was the head coach here. I know. But bear with me. When you see that light and it's getting bigger and all of a sudden the whole hallway is starting to look brighter, they're going to open things up. And I think that's where we're headed. I do think we'll have a season. And again, unless this thing spikes, unless it comes back, I could see this thing kicking off September 5th. Now, I really thought that there was a game scheduled at the end of August. Now, let's get to what Greg Sankey had to say. Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, hope is not a plan. Now, this is a quote. This is from The Advocate, from Baton Rouge. TheAdvocate.com. Greg Sankey, quote-unquote, hope is not a plan. And they go on to say, but he's moving toward the SEC playing football this fall. And again, I'll leave you guys the link. This is from Scott Rabelais. I'll just kind of read what he says here. Southeastern Conference Commissioner Greg Sankey says the league is aiming for an on-time start to college football this season in September. If there isn't a season, Sankey figures we've all got bigger problems than missing football. If we're not playing football in the fall, Sankey said Thursday on WJXL FM in Jacksonville, Florida, I'd leave the football field and be thinking about what's happening around us. If football is not an active part of our life in the fall, what's happening around us becomes a real big question societally, it's hard to say, economically and culturally. Speaking on the Sports Talk Radio show in Jacksonville, as well as the SEC Network's Paul Feinbaum show on Wednesday, Sankey made clear the point of how imperative it is for college athletics to return for the 2020-2021 academic year after spring reports were canceled in March because of the coronavirus pandemic. The reaction to the virus worldwide grip led to the unprecedented cancellation of the NCAA basketball tournaments and the College World Series. I wanted to get down to his quote. This is them quoting him. My focus is on football as scheduled, Sankey said. The week before that, volleyball, and the week before that, soccer starting. The circumstances will guide the decision making. We want to be prepared. Now, he goes on to say the hope is we all move along together. This is the point that I want to make here in just a second. The hope is that we all move along together, Sankey said. To date, that's been the conversation and collective thinking about how we may have to adjust. But it's a very different situation from a pro league. There is room for different conferences to make different decisions, but we're all interconnected. When we're playing basketball tournaments, there is no connection. We're all in arenas playing each other. He still asked Sankey, would a couple of programs deciding they're unable to resume football stop everyone? I'm not sure it does, but the ability for us to stay connected will remain important. The point that I want to make here, not all conferences have to start at the same time. That's what the White House now talking about, like areas, regions opening up. Now, I think California, I think they're saying that things are going to open up this Friday. I thought I saw that, and that's a really good. If California opens up, now I think they've handled most of the coronavirus stuff pretty well. Something's going on that's, I think them, and I think Arkansas has actually done. I mean, you looked at the affected versus the deaths and everything like. And again, I'm not going to get on the political spectrum about I've seen our Discord kind of blew up about some of that yesterday, and I didn't get involved. But about people that are actually dying from COVID versus are they dying from something else, but they're being marked as dying from COVID. That's another conversation to be had. But if California is heading in the right direction, the Southeast, the Northeast, obviously the state of Texas, if everyone's heading in the right direction, but what about the places that aren't? What about, again, you talk about the Northeast, New York got lambasted by this thing. No matter what you believe on COVID or not, they definitely had a spike in deaths. So what do you do when certain parts of the country aren't, when you talk about college athletics, aren't on the same page? Now, the argument that I want to make here is that, I typed it out, my take on this is that the coronavirus in this very unorthodox offseason and what could also be an unorthodox regular season, considering all conferences could literally do as they please, start at different times, not everyone may be on the same page. So this will definitely provide an incentive to put everyone under an umbrella or quote-unquote super conference, which we've been hearing about for years, which would mean everyone would abide to that conference's, the commish. Kind of like Roger Goodell, the NFL. Maybe that would be Greg Sankey. Maybe the SEC then expands. Maybe these other universities like Texas, Oklahoma, you'd look down southeast, Florida State, you look at Clemson, you look at Miami. Wait a minute, we're not opening up, but the SEC is? We're losing millions. We need to open up, but look at Greg Sankey. He's out here talking about opening up. This could absolutely increase the possibilities of a super conference happening sooner than later. because Greg Sankey sees it, and other athletic directors see this across the country. If you've got the SEC commissioner kind of talking about that a little bit, you've got media outlets around the country talking about this a little bit, I say a lot. It'll be the conversation. You watch going into the football season, if this happens, if you have other conferences not willing to open things up and go about their schedule as planned, which who knows? They're losing money too, but again, I talk about Texas. What if the Big 12 is like, wait a minute, hold up, we're not all on the same page, not all ADs agree, but you've got the SEC over here playing football somehow. Now, again, I don't know how you play, like you look at Notre Dame. Arkansas's got to play Notre Dame. What if Notre Dame doesn't open up? Do you just TBA that game? There's so many questions. I don't even know where to begin with that. I assume that Hunter Yurachek they'll just have to not play that game. Or if they can make it up towards the end of the year or something, make it up for another bye week, play it on a bye week or something, maybe that's the route they can take, unless Notre Dame says, nope, we're just going to cancel our season, which I don't see them doing. I think they still have the NBC contract that's worth millions. I don't see them not playing this year. But there's a lot of variables in this equation, and that in itself, even if this all goes as planned, is going to provide incentive for the SEC to reach out to these other schools and say, hey, wait a minute, bro, we're playing, we're making money, come join us. And now you have super conferences, and I'll tell you my opinion on that right now, that is nothing but bad for Arkansas. And that should go without saying. There are some people, and I've seen them on social media, who believe that's a good thing. And I'm like, what are you talking about? No, it is not. When A&M joined the conference, look how they went from like a barely top 25, top 30 recruiting program to like being top. I mean, hell, their first few years in the SEC, they had top 5 classes back-to-back years, if I remember right. I know it was really high. They jumped. What do you think will happen if Texas and Oklahoma join the SEC? It's going to be unparalleled. It's going to be unbelievable, and it's not going to bode well for Arkansas. You don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. I don't see that being a good thing. And then with more teams, eventually the conversation will be had, okay, when do we start playing more games, too? Just keep that in mind. We're going way down the future into an alternate reality, but I think eventually that could absolutely be the case. These are things to just think about, all I'm saying. But yeah, this ordeal, the coronavirus, may be what they have needed all along to push this whole thing, the super conferences, to happen sooner than later. So I want to know your opinions on that. I want to know what you think. Let me get caught up on chat here really quick. My bad, Ty. Mountain Home, class of 98. Y'all talk about Mallet to the Bombers yet? Hog Talk did. Yeah, I think we had an episode on that. Let's see. You learn by doing it. This is Mark Douglas talking about what I was talking about earlier about these video sessions with the position coaches and the players. He says you learn by doing it. Repetitive muscle memory and action causes an immediate reaction without needing to think. Jacob Botwinick, remember when Chad had spring and summer? Oh my God, I love it. Only had like half the offense installed. Did he ever even have that much, Jacob? I thought he had like 30%. Wasn't that the tag? We got about 30% of the offense installed. Oh man, that guy's going to just continue to catch so much heat from Hog fans. It's just unbelievable. Be careful with the World Health Organization. They might delete your channel. You're not wrong. I know. You're not wrong. You really aren't. I spoke poorly of the WHO. Open this joint up and let's get working, Pete's. What I said on the Hog Talk, I'm not saying to not take this thing serious. I wear a mask. I Germex, as my wife, I'm definitely I shower every day. That's my, I've been told that I'm weird for that, but I shower every day, sometimes twice a day. Germex, mask, you name it. I don't do the gloves. Though. Do you think we can get a bowl game this season? No, I don't. If you're talking about assuming everything stays the way it should be with the coronavirus and the season goes on uninterrupted, no, I don't think Arkansas gets to a bowl game. I still have more research to do, of course. I want to look some things over again, but I don't. Unfortunately, I'm at the plant. I'll catch the rest of this in the morning. Stay safe, Woo Pig. All right, John, you do that. Let's see. I don't know what Cody's talking about. Probably not, dude. Probably not what? I don't know if you're responding to somebody in chat or me, but you're going to have to clarify. I hope I'm not wrong. Of course, I just don't know if we go from 2 to 6. Oh, I see. You're responding to the do we go bowling? Okay. Let's see. What's up, Ty? What's up, Robert? Hope all is well. I think Arkansas State had to cancel a game not long ago. I don't think you're wrong about that. Did you see Coley's new vid with him wearing a hog shirt? Okay. All right. All right. Let me, let's get into recruiting. So that's where I'll end with that as far as Greg Sankey, Hunter Yurachek. There's the possibility it sounds like we're gonna have football season. So go make your rosters on NCAA 14. Go get them updated because I'm sure there's someone out there with an updated roster and get ready to play some. By the way, NCAA 14 is the worst NCAA. Don't at me. I'm sorry. It's atrocious. All right. Recruiting update. All right. So Arkansas got a commitment from a 3-star outside linebacker, Jermaine Hamilton Jordan, out of Kansas City, Missouri. He's listed as an outside linebacker. I've heard he's actually a better safety. I believe it was Richard Davenport. Someone had passed along that someone had told me. Maybe it was, I can't remember. But that he could come in and impact the defense immediately. They think that highly of him, but he is a 3-star. I think his other offers. Well, let's see. Yeah, he could play linebacker or safety. His offers include Iowa State, Kansas State, Kentucky, and Kansas. May have interest from Mizzou and Nebraska. That puts Arkansas's 2021 class at 5 total commitments so far. That puts them 51st in the country. And 10th in the SEC. I'm going to say something about this, too. To those of you asking me about what's going on with recruiting, because I'm going to give you a Caden Salter update here in just a second. Why are they losing out on guys? You know, they've lost out on a couple. They're not making some of these recruits short list. What's going on? I'm going to tell you what's going on. It's the same thing that I said about, the position coaches trying to teach these guys over a microphone and a camera, a webcam. It doesn't play. That's a little bit different. That's obviously learning and not recruiting. But still, I think it's kind of on the same lines here. Sam Pittman's strengths are absolutely being in the living room with mom and dad in that recruit. With the family. That's Sam Pittman's strength. And I think that's probably a lot of the staff's strength as well. And you could probably say that about a lot of coaches. But if you go back and watch his excitement about his players from Georgia going in the first round, you listen to the former Razorbacks that were coached by Sam Pittman. He's a warm and fuzzy, let me get my paws on you and give you a big old hug. He's just a big old teddy bear that these kids love and they love to be around. That's his strengths. That's his strength. Or that's one of his strengths as a recruiter. And I think that's one of the reasons why he was so highly respected as a recruiter, obviously by Smart, by Brett Bielema here at Arkansas. They recognize that as his strength. His strength is not over FaceTime on his iPhone. He needs to be in the living rooms with the families and with the prospect. And I think once this thing is lifted, once the NCAA, once the conferences allow these coaches, you're going to see some movement. Tennessee, by the way, I don't know if you guys are paying attention. I think they had, 2 5-star prospects last week commit. They had a total of, 6 total commitments. I think of the 2 5-stars, or of those, you had 2 5-stars. I think they had a couple more 4-stars commit and a highly rated 3-star. I don't know what's I'm not going to – look, Tennessee's always recruited well. I'm not trying to say they're up to something. That week is just unheard of. I don't know that schools – that's definitely not common even amongst Ohio State and Alabama, LSU. To land the kind of prospects Tennessee's been getting lately. And I'm going to get – there's more on Tennessee here in just a minute. Stick around. But Sam Pittman's strengths are being in the living room with that player and his family. Until this is until this is all – they're given the green light to do that, I think you're probably going to continue to swing and miss. Some coaches do well over the iPhone, doing FaceTime, doing the Zoom meetings and all that. Listen to Sam Pittman talk, okay? I'm not hating on the guy. He's just a good old boy. That's who he is. He's kind of boring to listen to when he's talking even to just the media. Now, his approach to the media, I'm based on what I've seen. I saw those, his excitement over the NFL players, and he's calling them on the phone. You could see how happy and excited he is for those kids. But it's different when he's in the living room with these players. I think that's his strength. When this all goes away, I think you'll see the recruiting kind of change a little bit, and you'll start seeing the highly rated players come along, and you'll definitely have more than 5 commits. Probably sooner than later, actually. But he's still, I think, doing a good job now, and I'm not trying to hate on him or the rest of the staff, but his strengths are definitely, like I said, not being behind a screen. He needs to be there in public with the family. So, speaking of Tennessee, Caden Salter, 4-star dual threat prospect out of the state of Texas. I'm going to tell you right now, for the last several months, everything I was told is he's all hog. He's a Razorback. He'll be a hog. He's been he's known Briles since going back. I was told actually the 8th grade. I made the argument. I made the statement on the Hog Talk. I think it was the Hog Talk. I think that he's known him since the 9th grade. Someone else texted me and said they had heard the 8th grade. I don't know. Regardless, he's known him a very long time. He has some form of a relationship with Briles. But about a week and a half ago, something's changed. In that same week, Tennessee blew up in recruiting. He has now been crystal balled 100% across the board. Someone sent me the screenshot a little while ago to Tennessee. Not a good sign. They do have a quarterback committed in this class out of Little Rock, Rogers, who I think, honestly, there's just not enough to really look at and say, oh, he's going to do this or that. I don't know. I think Clint Sterner had actually bragged on his athleticism. I kind of get the vibe. He's big. He's a big guy. I think he's like 6'4", 6'5", 215, 220-pound quarterback. Rogers, I'm talking about. I think maybe he can develop into a decent SEC quarterback. I don't know. He looks to me like a project type of player. Doesn't have any SEC power or any Power 5 offers that I know of. Now, that could have changed lately. I didn't look, I'll be honest. I think Houston was in on him, and I want to say maybe there was a Power 5 out of the Big 12 that was interested and offered him. I'm not really sure. And he could be, too. Aaron Outley is his teammate. His recruiting could blow up. He's still got a whole season left to play. We'll have to wait and see on him. I am excited about it. Go back and watch his videos. Kid's got an arm. I mean, the arm strength and his ability, his pocket awareness, his ability outside of the pocket, he's pretty dangerous. Rogers is fun to watch. He looks a little raw, right? If this ends up being your only quarterback, and the rumor's been for a while, they're taking 2 tight ends, and I think Aaron Outley will be one of them. His teammate, by the way, I've bragged about this kid for months. I've been saying it for months. His recruiting is blown up, by the way. Penn State, Oregon, Florida State, LSU have all offered him in just the last several months. They do have a backup plan for Caden Salters. It's Lucas Coley, kid out of San Antonio, Texas. I'm just a little bit concerned about the quarterback recruiting. I realize they brought in some really good quarterbacks last couple of years. But you got to keep that up. If you look around the SEC and around the major players in Power 5 football, they get one of these kids every year. I am excited about the future. Hornsby and everything. I still think there's a possibility that KJ could shine. I am excited about the future, but you got to do this every year. And Lucas Coley, don't get me wrong, I think he just got another offer today. I think he actually was offered by Vanderbilt today, Lucas Coley. I'm just a little bit concerned about what do they do, because Lucas Coley, who's a 3-star dual-threat quarterback, was supposedly also all hog and was indeed the backup, or the backup plan to Caden Salter, but now he has pushed back his announcement date, which was, I think, supposed to be tomorrow. And he has pushed his announcement date back to go visit Washington State. So now all of a sudden you swung and missed on Caden Salter, a prospect you thought you had locked down. Again, these are 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. You never have them locked down until they sign the paper, and even then it's a question mark. But so you could swing and miss on both your backups. So you're left with Rogers as your only other quarterback that's committed. So there's so much left to happen, and I'm glad actually that Coley. That's fine that he pushed it back, because if they allow Sam Pittman, if the NCAA allows in-home visits to happen, I think he'll end up being a hawk. I like Coley, 6'2", 205, dual threat. He's quick outside the pocket. It reminds me a little bit of KJ film. He kind of hangs onto the ball a little bit, but looks like he has a decent arm. Mechanics don't look as raw compared to Rogers when I compare the two, but Rogers has got a much more powerful arm. There's a lot of questions at the quarterback spot, and if Coley, who again pushed his commitment date back, and he doesn't have a date set, what does that mean for the future of the position? Who's the other options? They have them out there. I don't have a list right now, but there are some other backup plans. But Coley was your backup plan, so they just need to get rid of the NCAA. The NCAA needs to allow the coaches. By the way, what was this? You can only have 10 people to a group. Well, I mean, hell, all you need is the mom, the dad, the recruit, and Sam Pittman. That's 4 people under a roof. Like, come on, NCAA, let's get with the times here. Let's understand the scenarios. But, yeah, so until that happens, you're going to see these guys kind of flake. And I wonder if Caden Salter, if that's not the case here, that Tennessee's just doing a better job of keeping up with him over Zoom and, the FaceTiming and all that. I don't know. But Bryles is his recruiter. And everything I've been told is they have a really great relationship. It is, his announcement date, Caden Salters, by the way, is May 10th. So I fully believe he ends up going to Tennessee. I think it's all been a done deal. He tweeted out yesterday, Hog fans, or where all my Hog fans at, or something like that. Like, come on, man. I guess he put out a top 5 and Arkansas didn't make it. I didn't even look because I had been told that it's just not going to happen. He's going to commit somewhere and it ain't going to be Arkansas. So after that, I was like, all right, well, I'm done keeping up with him, I guess. I concur with Hadley. That kid is a baller, by the way. Go watch his film. It is insane. If that's the case, could we actually take 3 quarterbacks in 2021? No, I think they're going to stick with 2. They're not going to take, because, again, Salter's not coming to Arkansas. You wind up with Rogers, and then you wind up with Coley. Coley's recruiting, and again, it was actually Kyle on the Hog Talk who pointed that out to me. I had heard of Coley. I didn't know a whole lot about him. I knew Arkansas had offered him, and Kyle had said, well, there's something going on here. Maybe they do actually get his commitment. And that instantly right there was like, wait a minute, what's going on with Caden Salter then? Why are they accepting Rogers' commitment? By the way, the day Arkansas offered Rogers, he committed to Arkansas. Arkansas accepted his commitment. I guess right then that should have been... Well, I don't know. Then again, they've planned on taking 2 quarterbacks the whole time, so who knows? Do you think we can beat Notre Dame? No, I don't. Would definitely give us some cred if we did, Greg. Yeah, I don't see that happening. Mark my words, Tennessee will be getting sanctions in a few years. They're recruiting. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know if they've ever done that in that school's history. Get that kind of... I realized when Fulmer was there, they were a recruiting powerhouse. And Tennessee does usually recruit pretty well. They have top 25 classes like every year. In fact, they've had a couple top 10. And last year, I think they had a top 10 class. But to have that kind of success in 1 week when no coaches are making any communications with these kids as far, in-home visits, and recruiting is a little unorthodox right now, for them to land all these kids is... I don't know. Again, I don't want to point fingers. I don't want to say that they're cheating. That's just strange to me. I don't know of any other program that's doing that. And Tennessee is not. I think they have, or they had, depending on what recruiting site you follow, they had either the number 1 or number 2 class as of like 2 days ago. Maybe that's changed. I've heard we have a good shot at San Antonio kid. Again, he pushed his commitment date back. I think it was supposed to be tomorrow, May 5th, I believe. Or maybe it was later. Because he wants to go on an official visit to Washington State, which would mean that his commitment date is up in the air because we don't know when he can go on an official visit. So that's a lot of time. But yeah, up until he made that decision to open up or to change his commitment date, I thought it was all Hogs. I don't know if that's the case anymore or not. Tennessee dropping the bling on these players. I didn't say that. Chat said that. Gary Davis, not going to be a conference change based on this because it takes years to schedule. If Texas, for example, wanted to play, but the Big 12 wasn't playing, they couldn't get on anybody's schedule. So Gary, the point is though that I'm making is that they're pushing that ahead. I'm not saying they're going to do that this year. They're going to wait, and it's going to push it to a sooner date than if they decide to do this. In other words, this essentially could push them to the idea of why don't we just get under the SEC, under that umbrella, who's making money. By the way, their TV contracts are $45 million a year to each program. It's a wonder that this hasn't happened already with the kind of payouts that they get with these TV contracts, but it'll happen. It's going to happen. I had thought before all this in the next 10 years. Now maybe that's the next 5. I'm not saying that it's going to happen tomorrow, Gary. I think that it could absolutely happen sooner than later now because of this. So the scheme part 2 featuring Tennessee football. I like it. Yeah, that's, I don't know. Again, they do recruit well, but that kind of week they had, and they're not a program that out-recruits the Alabamas, the Auburns, the LSUs, the Ohio States. That's not who they are. They maybe for a couple of prospects they can, but as overall rank, I don't know, man. That's just not throwing shade. It's weird too. All the recruiting success that they've had. Go back and look on 24/7 Sports. They have legit classes. They have got to be the most underachieving program in all of athletics, in all of college, no matter football, basketball, baseball. They just underachieve, and it's insane to me. I don't know how they recruit this well to begin with. I know they have nice facilities and they make a lot of money, but it's not like Tennessee just pumps out a ton of prospects. They really don't. I would say they're probably a mark ahead of Arkansas in terms of the 4- and 5-star caliber recruits. Now, they do put out more total prospects, but they don't put out just like what you would see out of Alabama, or I think they're kind of in line with Mississippi. So I do know they've been able in the past to walk into the state of Mississippi and out-recruit those 2 states until Freeze got to Ole Miss, and we saw how that happened. Just say it. I don't know. I like that, though, the scheme part 2. Let's see. Wants to play for that jackass Pruitt. He's a goofy-looking fella, right? Of course, who am I to talk? But I don't know, man. He's got the FaceTiming down, apparently. I'm not really sure. So I think we kind of covered everything. How long have we been going? What's this at? 46 minutes? Okay, I thought we were at like an hour. Scroll up here to see, picking up all these crazy top recruits seems a little fishy to me. I'm just saying, yeah, I agree. I agree, Azazian. It is just absolutely crazy. I think we're caught up in chat. All right, well, again, thank you guys again so much. Kids that want to get paid. That's who wants to play for Tennessee, or kids that want to get paid. All right, that's it. Thank you guys so much. I am working on some other content. I'm working on a video on Cheyenne O'Grady about why he hasn't been drafted. I've got that coming. I've got the script written out. I just need to get it put together. Homeschooling, man. I don't know how many of you guys are doing that or taking part in that. I'm just going to ask the state, where's my paycheck doing all this homeschooling? I mean, my gosh. So, yeah, just a bit crazy around here with all this stuff, quarantining and everything. But, again, I'm going to try and get that video out to you guys hopefully maybe this week. That's the plan. So, until the next live stream, thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for watching. Again, remember to like, share the content. Check out all the links down below. And I guess the Hog Talk link is out of date. I need to get that updated. I'm sorry, but I'm going to get that updated. Get you guys the updated Hog Talk link. That's a dead link now. So, but the other links are alive and working. The Patreon, PayPal link, and I think, is that it? Is that all the links? I think that's all the links. Those other 2 are working just fine. So, until the next live stream, Woo Pig Suey, Go Hogs. I'll see you guys around. Be safe.